When I first tried the Roccat Kone XP wired, I went, whoa, this is one epic productivity mouse, and if it were wireless, it could be in-game, which makes me excited for what I'm about to say next, as here we are with the Roccat Kone XP Air, which is wireless, which has some minor but appreciated improvements, such as more attractive RGB lighting, a really sick dock, and a reduction in weight despite being wireless. But there are a few other things that prevent it from being an automatic recommendation, but you'll have to wait till the end of the review to find out. Quick disclaimer, I was sent this mouse in exchange for an unbiased review, but that won't prevent me from sharing my honest opinions about it, so let's get nerdy. Don't let the Air part of the name fool you, as the Air name only means that it's wireless, not that it's actually lightweight, as it is still considered heavy at 99 grams when compared to other competitive FPS mice, such as the Logitech G Pro Superlight. But in the productivity niche, it is one of the lightest. Funny how perspective can change things like that. I'm impressed that with everything going on here, that it is only 99 grams. It is semi-well balanced, where if you pick it up on the middle, it is perfectly balanced and feels light, but the moment you go off-center, it stops being so. Overall, for the target demographic, I definitely see this as a win. Moving on to the clicks, it comes with 15 buttons. Yes, you heard me right, 15 buttons. Those buttons include primary click 1 and 2, a 5-way scroll wheel, which includes scroll up, scroll down, left, right, and middle click, 2 buttons on the left click, 5 buttons on the thumb, 4 on the side, and then 1 on the bottom. Then you also have your profile switching button on the bottom, along with your 2.4 gigahertz if you scroll up, off in the middle, and Bluetooth low latency on the bottom. If you put one of these side buttons as Easy Shift Plus, it activates a secondary profile that essentially doubles those buttons, so you go from having 15 to 29. For you productivity nerds out there, I know you're awfully turned on right now, but you're going to have to dial it down a little bit. For those of you who are just now showing up to the party, most gaming mice, such as the G Pro Superlight, only have 5 buttons. The left, the 2 primary clicks, middle click, and then the 2 side buttons, where most productivity mice usually max out at about 11. So having 15, much less 29, is like mind-blowing. Which brings us to the biggest downfall of this mouse, the primary clicks, as they have some of the largest variance that I have ever seen on a mouse, and I've tried a lot of gaming mice. These clicks fall squarely in the adequate/good category, where my left click feels and sounds very different than my right click. The left click requires light pressure with long pre-travel, moderate post-travel, and strong spring back force with a moderately loud click, which in the end is satisfying if you can forgive the travel. The right click requires strong pressure, has short pre-travel, long post-travel, and very strong spring back force with a loud click. That's about twice as loud as the left click, but again, feels very crisp. During gaming, I don't notice this variance as I'm immersed in, I'm just performing, but when doing work on the desktop, it becomes a little bit more noticeable. At this point, I'm left on the fence as where both Air versions have had issues with the Titan switches with great variance, whereas my wired versions of the Kone XP and the Burst Pro are nearly identical, making me concerned about the QA of their Titan switches and or the shell design for their Air products. If you own a Roccat mouse, what does yours feel like? Let me know in the comment section below. If you're liking this review so far, give it a like. If not, a dislike, and subscribe for more like this. The other buttons all feel relatively the same. Once again, falling in the solid category, but nothing special. They require mild pressure to actuate, have mild pre/post travel with moderate spring back force. I like them and they perform well. Not much else to say about that, so we're moving on to the DPI button, as it's changed from the original Kone XP, which was more of a membrane feel, where this has turned into more of a traditional button, kind of like the side buttons, feels the same, but is about twice as loud. Last, you have my favorite button of all time, that I'm sure is patented, but if it isn't, I just want other manufacturers to straight copy it, as it's amazing. As if you press down moderately with your thumb, you have an additional button, and this one feels the best out of any of them with mild pre/post travel and strong spring back force. It is out of the way enough that you don't accidentally press it, or at least I never did, while being in the perfect position to easily hit it as well when you want it. The versatility of this button is great. I personally mostly use it for play/pause for my music and videos, but it also works fantastic in games or even as push to talk. Moving on to the scroll wheel, I really enjoy it a lot, but I think it will be hit or miss for most people, as it requires moderate/severe pressure to scroll with extremely dedicated steps. I'd use the words tight to explain it. Middle click requires moderate/severe force as well, and you can actually see it move where normally you can't with other mice, as it is usually almost instant. It has strong spring back force. It is also slightly angled for ergonomics, which is nice. Last, it sticks up a bit from the shell, but again, less so than the most 4D wheels, making it so side clicks are a bit harder to accomplish, especially as it continues to require moderate pressure to do so. With all that said, it is incredibly precise, and I had no issues performance-wise with it. It also does not have free scrolling like the Logitech G502 or Razer Basilisk, which will disappoint many. In the end, I'm a big fan of the scroll wheel and wish every single gaming mouse came with a 4D wheel, but they don't. If it weren't for the $160 price tag, I wouldn't have gone into such depth about all the clicks, but people are picky about such things, and when you're putting forth that much money, you should know what you're getting. Moving on to the performance, it comes with Roccat's AL-I 50 to 19,000 DPI sensor, 400 IPS, and 50G acceleration with adjustable liftoff distance. It's based off the PAW3370, meaning it is an upper-end sensor that will feel almost like the rest of the competition, with the exception of Razer's peripherals, which are just better in the sense of specs. It has the industry standard of 1000 Hz polling rate. I performed extremely well with this in games, and it's awesome for that. It has stellar wireless, which is not me saying that the wireless is stellar. They actually named it stellar wireless, which to me really cracks me up, as it's like totally tubular, dude. Found it worked great and never had any drops or issues while feeling very responsive. It also comes with Bluetooth low latency, once again making it feel very responsive. With it being a right-handed ergonomic shape, it is made technically for palm grip, but it also supports claw grip, and while you technically can use fingertip, it is definitely not recommended, making it the best for MMO, MOBA, RPG, RTS, and it can perform well for FPS, but the weight holds it back a bit at 99 grams. It does not come with any adjustable weights, which will also bum some people out because you guys are nuts and like to just throw around bricks all day long. Last, as I don't know where else to put all of this info, it comes with 4 onboard memory profiles and comes in 2 colors: Ash Black and Arctic White. Obviously, I've got the Arctic White version here. The RGB lighting is very attractive, and when you move the mouse, it dims, and when you stop, it actually brightens to help save battery life, which I like a lot. It does also turn off RGB automatically after a short period. All of that, along with the buttons, is adjustable in the Roccat Swarm software, which performs really well, but looks like it was made in the 1990s, which I'm not as big of a fan of. Moving on to the battery life, it is excellent. They report 100 hours of battery life. I find this to be a bit misleading, as they don't mention if that is with or without RGB, or if this is with 2.4 stellar wireless or Bluetooth. I didn't test this fully because I was easily able to get over a week without charging, so you should be good, especially since it comes with a dock, which to me makes the battery a moot point, as you can just put it on the dock at night and you will charge it up. What I like is that it will turn off lighting once it is charged, so even if you have it in your room where you sleep, it won't stay on all night and keep you up, or constantly go through the recharge cycle, shortening the battery life. The dock in it being physically wired supports rapid charging, where you can get 5 hours of battery life with 10 minutes of charge time, which is something that you don't see in a lot of wireless gaming mice, and I'm very appreciative to see here. Placing the mouse on the dock is extremely easy, as it just literally slides into place. I like it a lot better than Razer's version, which is very, very finicky. Last, there is an area to store the dock on the underside of the mouse, and it uses USB-C to charge, so if you do happen to go on a trip with this, you are covered. It comes with a 1.8 meter Phantom Flex cable, which is paracord-like, so even if you have to play wired, it's not going to be that bad. On the white version, it is gray though, which is kind of ugly compared to a fresh white, which I would have preferred. If you're looking at the upgraded differences between the wired version and the wireless version, and if you should upgrade or not, I made a separate video about that, which you can find in the description down below. Moving on to the coating, arguably Roccat is some of the best when it comes to coating, as it is a rubber/matte type of material that I find to be very grippy, and I like it so much, whether that is with dry or semi-moist hands. It also doesn't attract fingerprints or oils, making your mouse always look clean and fresh, which I really like. Moving on to the PTFE feet, again, arguably, Roccat is one of the best when it comes to stock PTFE feet, as they are heat-treated and rounded, which to me makes them glide really well on my glorious XXL mousepad. But they are quite thin, so if you're somebody who goes through skates really fast, this might not be the best for you. It comes with the stellar wireless receiver, the Roccat Kone XP Air wireless mouse, the 1.8 meter braided Phantom Flex USB-C charging cable, the RGB rapid charging dock, and a quick start guide. Moving on to the conclusion, the biggest hurdle I have about this guy is the $169.99 price point, as the specs don't justify that cost. Yes, they are top tier specs, but nothing here is particularly new or groundbreaking, as it has been around for a while, for like at least years. You can essentially find other wireless mouse with similar specs around the $70 to $100 range as well, which makes it even harder. However, those mice don't have dual wireless, which is the 2.4 gigahertz stellar wireless, and Bluetooth. Usually it just comes with 2.4 gigahertz wireless, 15 buttons, incredible RGB, a dock, ergo shape, or rapid charging. There's also a lot of other refinement in this mouse that just justifies the cost, as just because you have a mouse that's cheap and has good specs, it doesn't mean that it feels good in the hand. And this guy it fits my hand like a glove. It's incredibly comfortable. I love using it, and I reach for it all the time when I'm doing productivity work. However, with the wired variant coming in at $89.99, I think Roccat, I always say that wrong, is going to have a hard time moving these units. Despite all that, if money isn't an issue and you're looking for a productivity mouse, it's going to be hard to beat this one, as it's an excellent mouse that does well all around and feels great. And I thoroughly enjoy using it and do definitely recommend getting it over the wired variant if price isn't part of the conversation. As wireless is just so much more convenient, the dock is amazing and looks great too, and when I'm working, it saves me a ton of time throughout the day just due to the number of buttons and macros I can attach to it compared to other mice. If you got to this point of the review, comment brick in the comment section down below. I'd also love to hear your thoughts of which one you'd go with if you were to purchase, and if you do purchase, which one did you get? Like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, share it if you have somebody who would benefit from it, and subscribe if you'd like more from this. If you happen to be buying it off Amazon, associates links are in the description. Otherwise, I will see you and your beautiful face on the next one. God bless and peace out.